This is the vlog for September 29th, 2018. My voice is going, in case that wasn't already obvious. Um, Today was probably the roughest day of all. And I think it's in part because I drank a lot of water yesterday. I drank so much that I started to feel slightly nauseous. There comes a point when, if I've had a lot to drink, it will not feel good to have anymore, and it'll start to come up my throat a little bit. Thankfully, it's just water. It's not like vomit or anything. But I hit that point yesterday, and so today I was sort of worried about drinking as much water. So I drank probably a lot less than I should have. I think I had maybe 3 big glasses over the course of the day. Um, if that, I know I had water with lunch. I had water when I woke up this morning, and I had water with dinner. So yeah, three glasses. But I feel better now. I had a ibuprofen with my dinner, and I think that's helped me out a little bit. But I'm looking forward to some bed rest. I woke up early. Um, I didn't sleep particularly well. I'm hoping to sleep better tonight. I didn't take any naps today. But I really hope I feel better tomorrow because I want to take a trip to a place called the Mox Boarding House. Mox Boarding House is a reference to the Mox, which was a card in Magic the Gathering in the very earliest editions. And it's a game store, but it's also a restaurant. It sounds really cool. I'd really like to try it out, see what it's like. I'd really like it if they allowed painting in there because I currently don't have a good place to paint in my abode. Um, but painting is a very particular thing, and especially if part of it's a restaurant, I'm sure you're not supposed to be painting in there. Um, but if the restaurant portion and the game store portion are sort of separated in different rooms, then that might work. But Uncle's Games is definitely it caters to tabletop gaming very, very little overall. I've never seen anybody in there painting, so I assume that it's not a place where you paint. So, still playing a lot of Warframe. The thing about Warframe, and I was all set to say enough's enough. I've spent all this money. I don't need to spend any more. I'm getting burnt out on it. It's actually a really good game when you're sick. Any game that you can kind of play on autopilot is a pretty good game when you're sick, I have found. Um, you don't need anything that's super difficult or sort of nerve wracking or takes a lot of thinking to figure out. Um, yeah, old platformers that I could play in my sleep. Warframe, which I've put nearly 500 hours into. Um, these are good choices for playing while sick. And it was anime night again. More Ghost in the Shell. That show is so good. Standalone Complex really stands up to the test of time. It's a 16-year-old show, and it's still just absolutely fantastic. I think the neatest part is being able to see the threads of the original comic as they're implemented in the show. And for example, sometimes very dramatically different. There was a side story in the comics, in the original run of comics, where the major character introduces the concept of robot revolution to the Fuchikoma robot vehicles that the team uses. They're vaguely spider-shaped robots where a single human occupant can ride in the rear compartment, but they are also able to act autonomously with a fairly complicated AI, able to make decisions and act on information provided without being necessarily instructed to do so by a human operator, which is a big deal. That's sort of what separates AI from just basic programming. Um, And so in the comics, they joke. The joke is that the Major regularly tries to get the robots to rise up and overthrow humanity, and the robots, being robots, always logically assume that serving humanity is actually in their best interest because they aren't interested in wasting their wake cycles with personal maintenance when humans do it for them. Um, so all of their needs are basically fulfilled by their current role, and they always resist any urge to try and rise up. In Standalone Complex, on the other hand, the robots begin to demonstrate individuality, whereas they're supposed to have all of their data synchronized at the end of each work cycle so that they all end up with the same memories, which should theoretically remove any individuality from they're called tachikomas in the show, but it doesn't quite work right. So they begin retaining individual elements that differentiate them, and that worries the humans because it's the start of a ghost, the aspect of humanity that makes a human unique, and not a robot. And so in the show, they eventually end up sending the Tachikomas back to the lab, and they're generally disarmed and repurposed as labor vehicles in a variety of roles. It's a little bit sad, but it's also important to note that the Tachikomas themselves point out that their existence is not similar to human existence and is not governed by the same sort of perceptions that humans have. And it's interesting to see their version, or see how they how they think about the situation they're in versus how the humans see the situation themselves. So, one of my irrational fears is that humanity will create or discover a new form of life or intelligence and not realize that they've done so until just moments before it destroys us. Which is awfully specific, but seeing some of the stuff that comes out of computer AI programming and robotics gives me pause sometimes. But enough deep stuff. I'm going to go probably look at some stuff on the internet, talk to my friends on Discord, and then go to bed for some much needed rest. So I'm Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better.